You know who I am?
Anything you say. Anything you say.
It's official.
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Thomas back again with another rendition of Truth Be Told. Now, as usual, there was nothing major going on in the news this week. It's a new year, 2022. We already started off with the legend, the icon, Miss Betty White passing away, which really sucks. I don't know if that's an omen to what's to come for this year, but of course things aren't going to get better until we get a leftist ideology out of our country. Mainly the main thing that's going on is everyone keeps talking about the China V and how everyone's getting sick from taking all these vaccinations, and it's their own fault because they were warned about them. They didn't listen. So, but it's science. You're literally putting a virus inside your body, so naturally they're going to get sick. But it's mutating every time they do it, and you're getting all these different strains, unpredictable strains. I don't know. We'll see how things go. Anyways, moving on. This week I'm going to talk to you about The Witcher Season 2. I got done watching it last week, but had to put it off until this week to talk about it. Now, I seen a few, not many, but there were a few who complained on social media that this season wasn't that good, and it was really off. It was confusing, didn't make any sense, blah 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 blah. And I'm telling you right now, they're full of fucking shit. Every single one of them. This season was amazing. It was far better than Season 1. Season 1 did a lot of that time jumping where you're going from the past to the future to the present and back around again. Season 1 was confusing. I almost didn't even watch Season 2 because of Season 1. I wanted to like the show, but that first season made entirely no sense. I couldn't get the story at all. I had no idea what the fuck was going on. The only part of the story that I actually understood, and God forbid I'm saying this, was the whole feminist thing with the mage, where she thought she was just the badass shit, blah blah blah, you know. No matter what kind of rules or authority there was, she was like, fuck you, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want, because I'm like super badass fucking magic user. And it was stupid. She was a dumb bitch. She even burnt her love relationship with Henry Cavill's character. You know, it was just retarded. But anyways, in this season, things have completely changed. They focused more on Henry's character, which is the main character. He did so much more fighting. There were way more monsters, which made the show great. It was awesome. Yeah, it has a lot to do with the girl that he's training, but it makes sense to why he's training her and what's going on with her. I totally get it, and I'm okay with it. They really toned down the Yvonne character, whatever the hell her name is, the mage, the feminist mage. She got red pilled big time. Like, they toned her way the fuck down. She came really humble, and she realized that it's the men that fucking help her out, not her, not women, not feminists. Because they would constantly try to shit on her. And then come to find out, it's the guys who were helping her out. Especially Henry's character. You know, I like the fact that they did that to her. Her character arc has gotten way better now that she realizes she's not this super badass chick that she thought she was. That she actually sometimes needs help, you know, and to rely on others other than just herself. But yeah, this season was so much better. I totally understood exactly what was going on. I got the story. It made total sense. Other than the first season, which was fucking retarded. This season was amazing. I'm telling you right now, The Witcher went in a really good direction. Way better storytelling, writing, far better. If you haven't watched it, watch season 2. I promise you, you're going to have a hard time not binge watching the whole thing through, because that's what I did. It's great. Season 2 is excellent. 2 thumbs up. The next show that I watched, I just got done watching. I am really, if you've been watching my videos, you know I'm really into paranormal investigation. I've been doing it for over 20 years. And I like checking out some of the paranormal and investigative shows. Not the storytelling bullshit, you know. Because you have to take all that with a grain of salt. Unless you experience it yourself, or there is some type of documentation, like it's been caught on camera or something, you have to take someone's stories with a grain of salt. There has to be some evidence to prove it. Now, that doesn't mean that it didn't happen. It's just I'm more of a, you know, hands-on, I've got to experience it myself or see it for myself kind of guy. Now, I just got done watching the 3rd season of what is called Destination Fear on the Travel Channel. It seems all the paranormal shows, for the most part, is on the Travel Channel. Now, I'll keep you up to date with Ghost Hunters and Kindred Spirits, because they're both starting to come out now with more episodes. But I just got done watching the 3rd season of Destination Fear. Now, the problem I have with this show, for the most part, is that they're more explorers. They're not really paranormal investigating. They are doing a little bit. That's why I watched the show, but I'm not a real huge fan. I think they're more like Ghost Adventures, which I absolutely cannot stand, because Ghost Adventures has literally been proven to be, you know, they're acting. Zach is a fucking actor. I think that's why Nick got off the show, to be honest. Because they, instead of doing paranormal investigation, they started faking their shit and became more of a TV show than it was serious paranormal investigating. But anyway, Destination Fear is very similar. In fact, Dakota Layden actually came from Ghost Adventures. And I think it's kind of ignorant because they go to these places and then they stay the night at them. And they don't really even stay the night. They're there for like 3 or 4 hours by themselves. Ooh. They're not actually staying all night. They're mainly walking around, just seeing what they can capture on camera for the most part, for most of the night. And then they go, supposedly, go stay in certain areas of the location they're at for like 3 or 4 hours. And that's really not an all-night investigation. That's 3 or 4 hours. Not the same thing. Anyways, they do a little bit of investigation. That's why I watched the show, but because there's really not a whole lot of paranormal investigation shows on right now. So I watched it. It was okay. But I feel like I'm watching a few college students just running around seeing what they can capture on video. That's why I'm not a big fan of the show. And they run from every little noise. It's annoying. But this season, I don't think it was nearly as good as the couple previous seasons. It was okay. It seemed like they had Chelsea doing a lot more shit. It was like she was the one who would brave all the really scary places by herself, and she owned it. But otherwise, it's just okay. It's something to watch. It's not. I'm still not a big fan. I would prefer them to do more serious investigation than them clowning around like they usually do. So I give it a thumbs up and a thumbs down. It was okay. It wasn't that great. Alright, let's get on to your B-movie reviews. Alright, Movieholics. This week is Sci-Fi Week. Now, I've chosen to watch and review 2 movies from the 90s. And most people have probably heard of this. I chose to watch the Jurassic Park movies. The first one was done in 1993, and it starred Sam Neill and Laura Dern. Now, these were directed by Steven Spielberg and written by Michael Crichton. The first one basically is just setting everything up. You have this guy named John Hammond who figures out he can make dinosaurs from blood from a mosquito that's been trapped in amber for millions of years. He's able to clone new dinosaurs. Now they try to set up an island where they clone the dinosaurs, but they're all female. They don't add any males. Jeff Goldblum's character in this movie, he tells him that evolution always finds a way to work around it. Nature finds a way to where they can breed on their own, and it does eventually. Now the story is, John Hammond needs people to sign off on his park. He's created like this little amusement park, kind of like a zoo, drive-through zoo, and he decides to show a couple of scientists and this attorney or whatever the company works or has try to sign off on this park, claiming that it's safe and everything. Well, come to find out, the park, of course, is not safe. But that's due to the fact of John Hammond's son, who is trying to make big money by stealing some of the embryos and selling them off. He causes a lot of problems, screws everything up, and the dinosaurs escape. They have to deal with trying to get off the island before the dinosaurs basically eat them and kill them. But they all eventually get off the island. Everyone, for the most part, most of them get off the island and are safe. Now, the special effects were actually pretty decent in this movie. It was actually pretty good. And it's hard to find anything to do with dinosaurs where it's not a lot of claymation shit. But this one wasn't bad. It was pretty good. The first story rocked it. It was a decent movie. I liked it. I give it 2 thumbs up. It's kind of a family adventure, almost Disney-esque. If you original Disney before 2008 or whatever, for the feminist Minnie Mouse took it over. But yeah, it was a pretty damn good movie. Check it out if you're into a cool sci-fi with dinosaurs. Now, of course, the next one, that I watched was the sequel, which is called The Lost World, and it was done in 1997. Now, this starred Jeff Goldblum and Julianne Moore. Jeff comes back to reprise his character from the first film. However, now it's basically there's a second island that has dinosaurs on it, and they've been breeding. So it's been going wild pretty much. Now, John Hammond tries to get Jeff Goldblum on board with going to the island and observing everything to create a nature reservoir where the dinosaurs are left alone on this island. However, what he doesn't tell him is he's already sent his girlfriend, played by Julianne Moore, to the island first, because she's paleontologist or whatever it's called, studies dinosaurs, and from the stories that Jeff told her of the first island, she wanted to go and check it out. Now, this pisses off Jeff, so at first he wasn't going to go, but then when he found out his girlfriend was already there, he's like, oh, you fuck. So he ends up having to go to the island, try to track her down and save her ass, because he knows shit's going to hit the fan. There's 4 of them when they go, plus his daughter, which was kind of a stowaway. They end up on the island. Lots of crazy shit starts happening with the T-Rexes. There's a baby T-Rex. There's some hunters that show up with this guy who wants to capitalize on capturing a bunch of dinosaurs and bring them back to the States, to San Francisco, and set up a dinosaur zoo. So he hires a bunch of hunters to come with him and capture some dinosaurs. Well, that all goes to shit too. Shit gets crazy. They get in a big fight over this little T-Rex. They even try to steal it and take it back to the States with one of the other two. There's two. There's the father and the female T-Rex, and one of them ends up going to the States with them. They get one of them. Of course, you know, one of them gets loose in San Francisco. Julianne Moore and Jeff Goldblum eventually find out that they brought the baby too. They get the baby, to take it back to the ship and get the T-Rex to go back to the ship where the baby's at, and then they get it to where they get to send it back to the island. And that's pretty much the end of the movie. This one wasn't nearly as good as the first one. It was okay, but I don't know, it just seemed lacking for some reason. Wasn't as exciting. The story was okay, but it just wasn't as good. I give it a thumbs up and a thumbs down. It was alright, but the sequel wasn't all that great. Now, of course, there are a few other sequels, and I might eventually get around to watching them. We'll see. For now, that's all I have for you. Until next time, if you have any thoughts about what I said earlier in the video, please leave your thoughts down in the comments section down below. I'd love to hear from you. Also, if you know of any underrated movies or B movies, cult classics that you think I may never have seen or heard of, please leave your suggestions down in the comments section down below, and I'll get to reviewing them as soon as I can. So until next time, I told you you'd be told the truth, and you've just been told.